Before we get to the story, I'd like to say thanks so much for visiting my new channel. I'm going to be uploading cosmic horror related stories every single day. So if that sounds good, please drop a like and don't forget to subscribe. It means a lot, especially when just getting started. I hope you enjoy the story. I've been into astronomy since I was a kid. Nothing serious, just a hobby. I had a decent telescope my parents got me for my 16th birthday, and I liked knowing what I was looking at when I stared up at the night sky. So when I tell you that something appeared up there that wasn't supposed to be there, you need to believe me. I know the stars. I know what belongs and what doesn't. It was a Tuesday night, around 11:30. I was out on my apartment balcony in Ashford, supposed to be studying for a biology exam, but procrastinating like usual. The sky was clear, no moon, perfect for stargazing. I had my telescope set up and was just scanning around, not looking for anything in particular. That's when I saw it. At first, I thought maybe I was looking at a satellite cluster or something. But these weren't moving. They were stars, or at least they looked like stars, arranged in this tight grouping that I'd never seen before. The formation was roughly triangular, but wrong somehow. The angles didn't sit right in my vision. Looking at it made my eyes water and gave me this immediate headache, like brain freeze, but behind my eyeballs. I pulled back from the telescope and rubbed my eyes. When I looked up again with just my naked eye, I could still see them. They were bright, brighter than they should have been. I grabbed my phone and opened my star chart app, the one that overlays constellation information when you point your camera at the sky. I aimed it at the new stars. Nothing. The app didn't recognize them at all. The screen just showed empty space where those stars clearly were. I took a few pictures, tried to post about it on this astronomy forum I sometimes browse, but my internet kept cutting out. After the third attempt, my head was pounding so bad I had to go inside. I figured that I'd deal with it in the morning. Maybe I was just tired and seeing things. I texted my roommate Carter. "Dude, you need to see this weird star thing outside." He texted back, "K." That was it, just K. Carter usually sent paragraphs of random thoughts, memes, whatever. But I was too tired to think much about it. I went to bed. The dreams I had that night were awful. I kept seeing the stars rearranging themselves, forming different patterns, each one worse than the last. In the dream, I understood that they were trying to tell me something, spell something out, but I couldn't read it. Every time I got close to understanding, the headache would spike, and I'd wake up gasping. The third time I woke up, I checked my phone. 3 in the morning. I could hear movement on the balcony. I got up and looked outside. Carter was standing out there in his boxers and a t-shirt, staring straight up at the sky. Not moving, not blinking, just staring. "Carter?" I called through the glass door. He didn't respond. I slid the door open. "Dude, what are you doing? It's freezing out here." Nothing. His arms hung at his sides, completely limp. His breathing was slow and steady. I walked up beside him and waved my hand in front of his face. His eyes didn't track the movement. They were bloodshot, the whites all veiny and red, and his pupils were huge, even though the stars were bright. "Carter, seriously, you're freaking me out." I grabbed his shoulder and physically turned him around to face me. For a second, he just stared through me like I wasn't there. Then he blinked, and suddenly he was back. "Ethan." "What?" He looked around, confused. Why are we outside? You were just standing here, staring at the sky, man. For like, I don't know how long. I don't remember coming out here. He hugged himself, shivering. I was asleep. I was definitely asleep. We went back inside, and I made him drink some water, checked his pupils with my phone flashlight, like I'd seen in movies. They looked normal again. He said he felt fine, just cold and confused. We both went back to bed, but I didn't sleep. I kept listening for the balcony door, making sure he didn't go back out there. When my alarm went off at 7, Carter was still in bed, snoring normally. I got ready for my 9 o'clock class, trying to convince myself that last night had been sleepwalking or something. But when I stepped outside the apartment building, I saw them. About a dozen people scattered across the quad, all standing completely still, all looking up at the empty morning sky. I stopped walking. A girl I recognized from my English class was standing on the grass in her pajamas, bare feet, staring upward. A maintenance guy had abandoned his leaf blower and was doing the same thing. A couple of older students, probably grad students, stood side by side near the fountain, both with their heads tilted back at the exact same angle. "Hey," I called to the nearest person, some guy in an Ashford hoodie. "Are you okay?" He didn't move, didn't even acknowledge me. I started walking faster toward the science building, my heart pounding. This wasn't right. None of this was right. My biology professor, Dr. Kim, wasn't in class when I got there. We waited 20 minutes before someone went to check her office. They came back looking freaked out. "She's just standing at her window. I knocked and she didn't even turn around." The whole class started talking at once. Someone said their roommate had done the same thing last night. Someone else mentioned seeing a bunch of people in the parking lot earlier, all facing the same direction. A guy in the back said he'd had the worst nightmares of his life. "Did anyone else see those new stars last night?" I asked. The room went quiet. Then a girl in the front row stood up suddenly, her chair screeching back. "Stop talking about them," she said, her voice flat and weird. "You don't understand what you're talking about. I'm just saying there were stars that weren't." "Stop." She took a step toward me, and her face was completely blank, empty. "You didn't see anything. There's nothing to see." I grabbed my stuff and left. I wasn't staying in a room with her looking at me like that. Outside, there were more of them now, at least 30 people spread across the campus, all stock still, all looking up. I pulled out my phone and called my friend Olivia. She answered on the first ring. "Ethan, what the hell is happening? Are you seeing this?" Yeah, I'm seeing it." "Where are you?" "Library, 3rd floor. I've been here since 6 this morning working on my thesis, and when I looked outside, Ethan, this is really bad, isn't it?" "I think so. Stay there. I'm coming to you." I had to weave between the standing people to get to the library. Up close, they all had that same look Carter had on the balcony. Bloodshot eyes, huge pupils, barely breathing. I was careful not to touch any of them. Olivia met me at the library entrance. She looked as scared as I felt, her dark hair pulled back in a messy ponytail, still wearing what were probably yesterday's clothes. "I was inside all night," she said immediately. "I didn't see the sky at all yesterday evening. I think That's why I'm okay. I only looked for a few minutes, I said. Got a massive headache and had to stop. But Carter looked, and this morning he was out on the balcony in some kind of trance. We went up to the 3rd floor and found a study room where we could see the quad. From up here, the pattern was obvious. The people weren't randomly placed. They were standing in formation, mimicking the arrangement of those stars. A triangle, but wrong, with angles that hurt to look at too long. This is going to sound insane, Olivia said. But I think looking at those stars did something to people, like infected them or something. It doesn't sound insane. I think you're right. We spent the next few hours watching the news on Olivia's laptop, searching for any information about what was happening. The local news was calling it a mass hysteria event, maybe a gas leak or contaminated water supply. But Ashford was a small college town. Word spread fast, and people were already talking online about the stars. Every post I found about them had replies from people saying to stop talking about it, to delete the posts, that there was nothing to see. The same flat, emotionless tone as that girl in my class. By 2 p.m, Carter texted me, "Come outside. You need to see it properly." I showed Olivia. Her face went pale. "Don't respond," she said. "I'm not planning to." My phone rang. Carter. I let it go to voicemail. He called 3 more times, then stopped. The voicemail he left was worse than the text. His voice sounded wrong, like there were multiple voices layered underneath it, all slightly out of sync. "Ethan, please come outside. It's beautiful. You'll understand everything. It doesn't hurt. I promise it doesn't hurt. Just come look at the sky. Just look up. Just look." I deleted it and blocked his number, hands shaking. "We need to figure out what this is," Olivia said. "There has to be an explanation." We hit the library stacks, looking for anything that might help. Olivia had the idea to check folklore and historical records instead of science journals. She said if this was happening now, maybe it had happened before. In a book about colonial American superstitions, we found it. Just a few paragraphs, easy to miss. An account from 1647 in Massachusetts about a sky sickness that overtook a small settlement. People became hollow and filled with sky, standing in fields for days, staring upward. The account mentioned a new arrangement of stars that appeared for several nights. The sickness ended when a storm rolled in and clouds covered the sky for 3 nights straight. After that, people gradually recovered, though some never spoke again. 3 nights of cloud cover, I said. That broke whatever this is. Great. How do we make it rain? I didn't have an answer for that. Night fell again, and we were still in the library. Through the windows, we could see the constellation rising. It was brighter than last night, much brighter. The stars pulsed slightly, rhythmic, almost like breathing. I made the mistake of looking directly at it. The pain in my head was immediate and overwhelming, but this time I saw past it. I saw what they really were. Those weren't stars. They were eyes, or something like eyes. They were aware, and watching and looking at them was like making eye contact with something massive and hungry and completely alien. Looking at them was an invitation. Looking at them was consent. I tore my gaze away and stumbled backwards, my nose bleeding. Olivia caught me before I fell. "Don't look at it," I gasped. Don't ever look at it directly. She grabbed napkins from her backpack and handed them to me. What did you see? They're not stars. They're openings, doorways, and something is trying to come through. We looked out at the town from our safe distance. More than half of Ashford had to be affected now. The streets were full of people standing in formation, groups of them arranged in that same triangular pattern, over and over. They were becoming anchors, I realized. Connection points for whatever was on the other side. We have to leave, Olivia said. We have to get out of here and warn people. If we leave, this spreads. It's already on the internet. People are looking at pictures of it, videos. It's going to happen everywhere. Then what do we do? I thought about the historical account. 3 nights of cloud cover. We couldn't make rain, but maybe we could make smoke. The university chemistry building had equipment, materials. If we could create enough smoke to block out the sky over the main gathering points, maybe we could break the connection before it was complete. It was a terrible plan, with almost no chance of working. But it was better than nothing. We snuck out of the library through a basement exit, avoiding the crowds. The chemistry building was locked, but Olivia knew a grad student who had keycard access. We tried calling him, but he didn't answer. When we got to his apartment, we found him standing on his balcony with a dozen other people, all staring up. Olivia took his keycard from his pocket. He didn't react at all. Getting into the chemistry building was easy. Finding the right materials was harder, but Olivia was a chemistry minor and knew enough to be dangerous. We loaded up a cart with smoke bombs, fire suppression system triggers, anything that would create a dense cloud. We were wheeling the cart toward the exit when we heard footsteps behind us. It was a group of students, maybe 20 of them, moving in perfect synchronization. At the front was the girl from my biology class. "You need to come with us," they all said at once, their voices layered and wrong. "It's almost complete. You need to see." We ran. They followed, not running, but walking in that synchronized way, their footsteps echoing in unison. We made it outside and started setting up the smoke bombs around the quad, the largest gathering point. The affected people were getting closer, more of them joining from the streets and buildings. "Light them," I shouted to Olivia. She was fighting with a lighter, hands shaking. The crowd was getting closer. I could see Carter among them now, his face blank, his eyes enormous and dark. The first smoke bomb ignited, then the second. Thick black smoke started pouring across the quad. The affected people reacted immediately, a sound coming from all of them at once, somewhere between a scream and static. They scattered, trying to maintain line of sight with the sky, fighting to stay in formation. "It's working," Olivia yelled. I lit 3 more smoke bombs and triggered the fire suppression system in the student center. Alarms blared. Sprinklers activated. More smoke filled the air, spreading across the gathering areas. Some people were snapping out of it. I saw a girl collapse to her knees, crying and confused. A guy near the fountain blinked and looked around like he'd just woken up from a nightmare. But the constellation was so bright now, even through the smoke, I could see its light bleeding through, pulsing stronger. The connection was almost complete. Then I felt it, a weight pressing down on reality itself, like the air was getting heavier. The affected people all stopped moving at once. They turned to look at me and Olivia in perfect unison. When they spoke, it wasn't with their own voices anymore. It was wind through empty space, vast and ancient and utterly indifferent to human life. "Too late," they said. "We're here." I grabbed Olivia's hand and ran for my car. Behind us, the sky over Ashford was wrong. The light from the Constellation was pulsing rhythmically, like breathing, and the smoke was dissipating, blown away by a wind that came from nowhere. We made it to my car, and I drove, just drove, not looking back. Olivia was crying in the passenger seat, and I was shaking so hard I could barely hold the steering wheel. We got to the highway as the sun started to rise. In my rearview mirror, I could see Ashford in the distance. There was a strange glow emanating from the town, visible even in the early morning light. My phone rang, Olivia's name on the screen. But Olivia was sitting right next to me. I looked at her. She was staring at her phone, which was in her lap, not ringing. "Don't answer it," she whispered. I let it go to voicemail. A few seconds later, my phone buzzed with a notification. I made the mistake of looking. It was a voicemail from Olivia. I could see her sitting next to me, see that she hadn't called, but there it was. I played it on speaker. At first, there was just silence, then wind. Not regular wind, but wind that sounded like it was coming from somewhere that had never known air or atmosphere. And underneath it, almost too quiet to hear, breathing that didn't belong to anything human. I deleted it and threw my phone into the back seat. We drove for 3 hours straight, stopped at a motel outside the state line. The TV in our room had news about Ashford. Communication with the town had been lost around sunrise. State police were being sent to investigate. No one knew what was happening. That was 4 days ago. I don't look at the sky anymore, not even during the day. I keep my eyes on the ground, on the road, on anything but up. Because sometimes, even in broad daylight, I can feel it looking back, waiting for me to meet its gaze again. Patient, eternal. Olivia left yesterday. She said she was going to try to find her family, but I think she just couldn't stand being around me anymore. I reminded her too much of what we saw, what we failed to stop. The news stopped covering Ashford after the second day. No official statement, no explanation. The town just disappeared from the news cycle like it never existed. But I've been monitoring social media, the forums, the places where people talk about weird stuff. And I'm seeing posts now. People all over the country, all over the world, posting pictures of a beautiful new constellation they've never seen before, asking if anyone knows what it is, excited to learn about this amazing discovery. And under every post, there are replies. People saying to stop talking about it, to look away, to delete the photos. But more people are looking up every night. More people are posting pictures. More people are asking questions. I tried to warn them at first. I tried to tell them not to look, to stay inside, to trust me. But they don't listen. Why would they? I'm just some random guy on the internet talking about evil stars and possessed towns. I sound insane. Maybe I am insane. Maybe none of this happened and I'm having some kind of breakdown. That would be better, honestly. That would mean this could be fixed. But I know it's real. I know because last night I made the mistake of checking the news about Ashford one more time. They finally sent people in to investigate. Federal agents, CDC, the whole 9 yards. They found the town empty. every single person gone. Cars still in driveways, food still on tables, everything left behind, like everyone just vanished mid-action. Except for one thing. In the center of town, in the middle of the quad, where we set off those smoke bombs, they found a mark burned into the ground. A triangular formation, the same pattern as the Constellation, scorched into the earth so deep that the grass will never grow there again. And according to the report, the mark is spreading. Slowly, just a few inches per day, but growing, like a stain seeping into the fabric of reality. I'm writing this from a motel room, somewhere in the Midwest. I've been driving at night, sleeping during the day, trying to stay ahead of it. But I know I can't run forever. It's in the sky now, permanent, watching. And every night, more people look up and see it for the first time. If you're reading this, please, I'm begging you, don't look at the stars. Not until this is over. Keep your eyes down. Keep your blinds closed. Don't let yourself be tempted to see what everyone is talking about. Because once you see it, really see it, it sees you too. And then it's already too late.